Whoa. Hey guys, it's me, the Bee from Supermarcy's Super Network, and I come to you again with another movie review. With John Wick Chapter 2 peeking just around the corner and me eagerly anticipating it, I figured what better time to review the first film. John Wick, made in 2014, directed by Chad Stahelski, I hope I pronounced that right, and David Leitch, starring Keanu Reeves, Alfie Allen, Michael Nyquist. I'm sorry, I am an ignorant white person, and a bunch of inexplicably awesome cameos. This has to be one of the finest action films I have seen in a decade. Not only is John Wick just a phenomenal action movie, but it's surprisingly very dramatic. I know, who would have thought? So let's rewind back a bit. When John Wick came out in 2014, basically nobody was expecting it to be as good as it was. But the moment when audiences sat down and watched the film, they instantly took notice of the fact that John Wick is more than just a ruthlessly efficient killer. He is given the opportunity to be a man. Now, in the past, I have ragged on Keanu Reeves as an actor. I will fully cop to that. But the truth of the matter is, I think Reeves is just an awesome guy. He is always so hardworking, and not only that, he is so tremendously, physical. When you're pushing 50 years old, and if you can still move that way and have that sort of hand and eye coordination, you have my respect. Now, given the film was directed by two stunt coordinators who had previously worked with Reeves on The Matrix and its subsequent sequels, they knew exactly how to use them. They knew exactly how to use him, rather. So let's just talk about the very basic concept of John Wick. You have a hitman who's lost everything and he goes on a murderous, bloody rampage of revenge against the Russian mob. There, on paper, very simple. But what this film wisely does is that it makes the film more about John Wick himself as opposed to his actions, without going into pretentious Sean Penn territory here. And John Wick is equally action as it is about drama. And here comes the fact that Keanu Reeves, if given the correct sort of material and the right sort of direction, he can be fantastic as a dramatic actor. And surprisingly enough, John Wick's psychology is very deeply explored in this film, without it pandering to any audience, without it becoming completely ridiculous. So, without further ado, I'm not going to sort of spoil any particulars of this film, because the way I figure it, this is a film that you need to see for yourself, okay? You may have heard, or rather you may have had the initial idea that this was just another brainless action film, but you could not be further away from the truth. Trust me, this is an action film that treats its audience intelligently. It has a basic story, yes, but it has a very intellectual and very sophisticated execution. So let's talk about the characters here. Well, as I said before, Keanu Reeves as John Wick is surprisingly effective. He isn't just filled with murderous rage in the film, he's also filled with despair and determination and a sense of genuine vulnerability. There are times in this film in which we see the character of John Wick as a man. Yes, his headshots are exemplary. Yes, the man can move like mercury on acid. But the truth of the matter is, John Wick is still a human man, and he can suffer. In various parts of the film, when he gets into fisticuffs or firefights with rivals, you really do get a sense of danger about him. There is no sort of James Bond and vulnerability cloak on him, okay? This man can take a shot and sort of wince and feel it. John Wick undergoes massive amounts of punishment in this film, and you are emotionally invested in him enough to care. Now let's talk about the baddies, namely Alfie Allen. Alfie Allen has pretty much made a career of having characters piss people off, okay? If you are familiar with Game of Thrones, and if you are familiar with his character Theon Greyjoy, it's actually quite funny to see his character in this film. He is the son of a powerful Russian mobster played by Michael Nyquist, okay? And when you're first introduced to him, he is such an entitled, brutal little shit. This was not a kid who was spanked on the bottom as a child. This was not a kid who was disciplined at all. He got everything he wanted, absolutely everything. Now. Basically like Donald Trump. Donald Trump. And, sorry. And, not really. And, you really do get a sense about what this character is all about. It's all about him. He is a narcissist. He's dumb. He's a complete idiot. So when he crosses John Wick in the worst possible way, initially he's like all bravado. It's like, oh, you can't fuck with me, blah, blah, blah. My daddy's a big, powerful man, blah, blah, blah. But when John Wick comes after him, complete with his Baba Yaga reputation, like being the boogeyman who scares the boogeyman, you see the confidence seep out of Alfie Allen's eyes as the movie goes on. He starts out with his chest out and everything, and then like you see him in tears towards the end of the film, and he's just so idiotic, like so criminally idiotic. And but I think one of the other really great performances in this film is Michael Nyqvist as Viggo Tarzolov, I think his last name is, I'm sorry. And he, as I said, he is the father of Alfie Allen's character. You really do get a sense of his power in this criminal underworld. It also helps by the fact that Nyqvist is a very charismatic actor. If you did not have somebody nearly as magnetic as this actor, the role would have fallen completely flat. But Nyqvist does everything he can to sell you on the fact that his character is ruthless and cold, but at the same time just so disgustingly likable in one way. And not only that, he too is, he's very judgmental of his son's actions. When his son evokes John Wick's wrath, he's like, "What the fuck did you do, kid?" You know, it's just so wonderfully like, his self-righteous anger with his son. It's just wonderful. Now, like I said before, this film is chock-a-block of fantastic cameos. I'm not going to reveal any of them, but when they pop up, they don't feel like the sort of thing that says, "Oh, such and such is in this movie. Wow, wow!" Like they actually are part of this universe. They look like they belong there. They behave like they belong there. And that's another fantastic thing about this film. As I said earlier, it's like a comic book universe, okay? You can see each and every one of these characters and you want to know more about them. If John Wick becomes a massive franchise in the future, I want to see more of these characters. They all have so much potential and power based on what you see initially. It's great. Now, let's get down to the action in this movie. Holy crap! One of my favourite parts of this film is the shootout in the nightclub halfway through the movie. It's just, I don't think I had seen a wonderful nightclub like shootout scene just done so well since like Collateral, made way back in like, what, 2004? Jesus Christ! The choreography in this gunfight and the precision, it's monumental. Once again, this is Keanu Reeves in camera doing all these movements. This is Keanu Reeves firing a gun, beating bad guys up, dodging their gunfire, just doing everything John Wick does. There is no doubt in your mind this is Keanu Reeves you're watching. Okay, you see his power and his fortitude and his coordination. If you can push 50 and still be able to handle a gun like that, like a ballet, holy shit! You are aging incredibly well, and everything about this fight is splendidly choreographed. Like, as well as that, the usage of music in that sequence, it wonderfully punctuates the action of what's going on. This film knows its strengths. It knows what it has to do in order to get the audience into its world and stay there for the next like 2 or so hours. It's just fantastic. It's amazing. So what would I give John Wick? Well, I give John Wick, part 1 in this case, a 5 out of 5. Just so wonderfully done and surprisingly better than the sum of its parts without any sort of pretension. This film knows what it is, it knows its demographic, and it delivers. It does not skimp. It's just, love it. So thank you once again for listening to me ramble, guys, and as usual, I shall see you in the next video. Bye bye for now.